Hi, Stephanie Ray here, accountability evangelist, here to speak with you about the facts that you create. Yes, we create facts. And I know that's probably a dangerous thing to say in this time and place that we live in, specifically in the US, with our former president and all the drama that went in around that. But it's kind of a thing. Creating facts is a thing. And what you may not realize is that you do this. I do this. What I'm talking about is you have certain beliefs or assertions that you live by that you may not even realize that you're living by them. And when you stop to challenge them, you open up more opportunities for yourself and others. Here's an example, real time example that I personally am experiencing. So, when I became a full time entrepreneur, I was kind of on the path. I was a part time entrepreneur for many years. And then I actually joined a startup as an employee. So, that was kind of moving me down the path of full entrepreneurship. And then I became a solopreneur. And so in my mind, a fact I created that I didn't even realize I created until very recently is that when you're going down that path or up that path or along that path to entrepreneurship, my fact that I created is that you always go straight, meaning you don't go backwards. So, and backwards is not a derogatory term in this sense, but what I'm getting at is I had never considered going back to work for an organization while being a part-time entrepreneur or even not being an entrepreneur at all. So I'm not heading those directions necessarily, except that I am now actually pursuing work in organizations because I think I'm more suited to that than just entrepreneurial work. And my intention right now is to retain my business in a part time capacity. But the point of this, again, is that this was a fact I created. And because I was living by that fact for so long, I kind of missed some cues and opportunities that I could have uh, pursued, another job that was really exciting for me that was available, say, months ago that I didn't even know about because I wasn't looking. Because this whole time I was very narrowly focused on I'm an entrepreneur, period. That guess where it ends. So if my business isn't growing or I'm not doing exactly what I want to do, I need to shift that within the confines of full-time entrepreneurship. That is not true. That is something I created. So that's an example of a created fact. So I challenge you to think about what facts do you create that you're living by? I'll give you a personal example. You may say to yourself, I could never travel that much in a job. I couldn't, this job requires, 50% travel. I could never be gone that long, that type of thing. Or even 25% travel. You might say, I can't be away from my kids overnight. And I've used this example in the past, and I'm not judging it at all. I'm just reminding you that this is a fact that you created. You can, in fact, be away from your children overnight if you choose to. It may be a bit painful at first, but it can happen. So when you say, I can't, you're really saying, I won't, or I'm not willing to. And that is totally fine. You need to own that decision. I'm just challenging you to recognize that it is not a can't, it is not a fact. It is something you created, and it can be challenged because it's not true. And when you do challenge things like that that aren't true, you open up possibilities for other things, even to consider. You do not have to act on them, but if you open up the possibility that say, if I took a job that I absolutely loved and it required some travel and it meant that I would have to be away from my kids, what would that do? What would I gain from that? Would I be so fulfilled in my job that the travel is negligible in terms of the negative impact on my life? I might actually enjoy the traveling. My kids might enjoy something a little different. They might miss me a lot while I'm gone. The reunion could be really fun. All of those things you can imagine now that you have set aside that fact you created and considered a new possibility.